Tonight about the local controversial case gone global. It's video we have shown you many times. The McCloskeys pointing guns at protesters outside their Central West End home back in June. The indictments against them that were unsealed yesterday shed new light on the accusations they are facing. And as investigative reporter Lauren Traeger tells us, we are learning more about the possibly long road this case could take.
These indictments are pretty short, actually, just 2 pages each, but they do tell us a little bit more about what prosecutors and the grand jury here says happened outside that Central West End home.
To them, it feels like persecution.
Defense attorney Joel Schwartz has long maintained the McCloskeys' innocence.
In this particular case, it seems that anything goes.
Patricia and Mark McCloskey were indicted on 1 count each of unlawful use of a weapon for pointing guns at protesters June 28th and tampering with physical evidence. That last charge stems from this pistol, which was turned over to police days afterwards. The indictments say the couple altered it, saying doing so impaired and obstructed the prosecution. The law says the guns had to have been readily capable of lethal use, but it's the prosecution's actions that are suspect, Schwartz says. A St. Louis Police Crime Lab report obtained by News 4 indicates a prosecutor instructed lab experts to disassemble the gun and reassemble it properly.
I will certainly make the jury aware of that when the appropriate time comes. What I am here to say is that the gun was not operable at the time Patricia McCloskey had it in her hand.
How do you prove that the gun was tampered with by the McCloskeys?
One word, Lauren, experts. It will be a case of experts testifying about what they thought the state of the gun was at certain points in time.
SLU Law Professor Emeritus John Ammon.
This will raise the issue of disparities in the criminal justice system in St. Louis.
He says because the McCloskeys have means, the defense team has a whole lot of resources to fight the case.
Experts are very expensive. A lot of people in criminal court can't afford to pay for an expert, and public defender has to ask the court for permission to get experts paid for. So it'll be very interesting, the amount of litigation we'll see.
Witnesses, he says, will also be key. Well over a dozen listed in the indictments only by their initials. A prosecutor writing in a motion to redact their names, saying, quote, given the international attention this matter has generated and the violence and vitriol directed towards the circuit attorney's office for the prosecution of this case, the witnesses were understandably reluctant to cooperate. But some witnesses, Ammon notes, only just learned they would not be charged with trespassing.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the willingness of witnesses to testify without immunity.
The prosecution declined to comment on this pending case. Now, previously they had said the McCloskeys might qualify for a diversion program, which is kind of like probation. I asked them today if that was still on the table, but again, they declined to comment. The McCloskeys will be back here in court next week, and their defense attorney says they will be pleading not guilty. Reporting at the courthouse downtown, Lauren Traeger, News 4.